Good morning. I have a little job to do on the Challenger torque limiting gear. Couldn't find a lot of information, couldn't find a video, so I thought I'd make a video and maybe help some other people out with the problem. We'll start the bike in a second and see what's making the noise. Basically, when you go to fire it up, it starts hanging up, starts whirring slowly, and it doesn't sound like it wants to run. Particularly after work, I changed the battery out. I put a lithium battery in it to give it more cold crank amps, and it still does the same thing. Probably does a little bit less, but still doing the same thing. I got on eBay. I did some research, and they reckon it's the torque limiting gear. So I'm going to replace that. Not entirely sure how we'll do that, but that's what the video is about. See if it makes a noise, eh? Alright, so there it is. Great bike. Done 50-odd thousand kilometres on it. And if I start it, that noise there. Never used to make that slow drag. That. It always used to run just boom, straight fire up, but now it's got that drag. So let's see. I'm gonna get down here in a second and start pulling some bits and pieces off it and see where we get to. The starter gear, the new one, was about $500-600 on eBay, and I found a second-hand one. So thanks to the people that sell these things off eBay, which is about 130 New Zealand dollars. So it's like 22%, 55,000 kilometres, and what a great bike! Absolute great bike, love it a bit. So let's see if we can fix it today, and if we can, I'll post a video. If we can't, I'll push it out on the street. All right, welcome back. A little bit of an update. So I thought I'd get away just quickly pulling this cover off and leaving everything on, but you've got to pull the floorboard off and the heat shields off. While I was there, I've noticed I had a stone through my belt, which is why I like to work on my own motorcycle, because I've got to replace the belt now. So their stone actually was poking through it, and I think I will replace it. I do have one sitting on my shelf here ready to go, so I would do that as well. The slip-on I'll talk about. So this is your factory standard Indian one, and what I've done is I put it in my power hacksaw and I cut the end off. This is an end cap from AliExpress for a couple of $100 for those, and there's the original Indian part number. Now when I cut the end off that, all the baffle was inside of here. It's not welded on that end, so all of the baffle can come out with the end piece. So it all just comes out, and then you've got actually a hollow tube. I put this next to a Pursuit with stage 1s on it, and the people that were around like the sound of mine better. So she's just an open hole all the way through, and that cap is just, it's an aluminium cap, and it's quite heavy. I had to rivet it on. You can see where I've been scraping. So if I had an expensive set of slip-ons, I might regret that. But I do ride my bike. It's got a 2-inch lift, and I still scrape it. But I do ride 2-up quite a lot as well. So that's my current update. Heat shields off, hole in the belt. I thought I'd take the whole exhaust off. Let's just get into it, give it a fair crack, and carry on. I'll update later on. Cheers. All right, hour or so later, as things roll around. So what have we got now? I got the side cover off. I ended up taking the seat off, all the bags. To get this cover here, to get this guy unplugged, there's a clamp there, which is a real drama. You've got to reach through all the way from the other side. So you've got to take the plastic cover off and get into that nut around the back of there. Fiddling around under there to get the exhaust pipe off. Those oxygen sensors are a real pain too, but I could have jacked the bike up. I'm going to jack it up later, but I thought I would just have it on its kickstand in case there was oil in here. Now I haven't changed the gear yet, but there's our gear there. This cover, that's our stator there, so I pulled the cover stator off gently and then put a couple of blocks of wood in there, which, because of the magnetic suction of it, so you've got to kind of gently prise it off with you know, bits of wooden wedges and carefully with screwdrivers and things, so that there's nothing holding it, there's no springs, it's just the magnetic suction of it. So just gently ease that off. You can't take it all the way off because of the wire, but I pulled it off and then I put these bits of 9mm ply just on the back of it, and then I just rested it back on there again, and the magnetic just kind of held it in place, undid all those, and absolutely no drama at all. It just popped straight off. Give it a little bit of a wiggle. When I put that on, I'll probably put a bit of anti-seize in those, just as good measure. You can see that hole in that belt there. So I will do that, and I'll take it out and water blast it and give it a good clean up while we're at it. So my next step, yeah, like I say, just absolutely no drama here. Just took me a while to get everything off, but I'm going to do the belt anyway. So I pulled all the other side covers and everything off, because I guess I got to get to that pin and drop the swing arm out. I'm not quite sure how we're doing that yet, but we'll get to that. Right, so there's our fending guy. I'll pull him out shortly, and I'll get back to you and see if there's any visible notice of difference in the new to the old gear. But all in all, no drama doing the job. It's just a little bit complicated with particularly getting into here to get the wires out. Fiddly is buggering under there. I could take the battery and all that front off, but that's a mission too. Okay, I'll be back. Okay, hopefully I'm back with you now. Okay, so, right, start down here. That's your starter gear from your starter motor that comes in from the other side. Looks alright, doesn't seem to be anything wrong with it. There's no signs of scratching or rubbing, no signs of any sort of scratching, rubbing, damage, anything around any of those. That's the new one. So basically, he sits in there first. It'll sit in the hole there somewhere. Then that one's going to go in, and I'll fiddle with that in a second. Absolutely no drama. There it is. It's in. No drama doing that. This idler gear, it's got these locators, but there's no sort of timing on it. And he just sat in here. So he just sits in here like so. I'll have to have a look what's... Oh yeah, there's the pin for that there. So I'll just pop that pin out of there, put that back in there, and he's good to go. So yeah, I don't think there's any sort of timing or nothing like that, because that bit there doesn't look like it's been located or anything like that. So that idler will sit there. I'm going to clean all this up, just with a bit of solvent, bit of anti-seize, put that back together, and I'll be back later with a video with it starting, see if there's any difference. But visually with my other one coming out, it doesn't appear, there's no damage or marks or, you know, grinding or any sort of damage that is visible. I don't know, these clutch plates, I think, like this gear here spins independently of that, and these clutch plates give it some slip to overcome the starter, the compression. I think that's how that works. So quite possibly those two clutch plates are binding up, and that's why it's doing this hard starting. The other one, you know, with a bit of luck. I've always used proper Indian oil, and I use an extra quart in my oil changes, and I do always keep my bike on a trickle charger as well. Whenever I come in the garage, I usually put on trickle charge. So yeah, I might have a tutu with that, see how it works, but I'll get back to you later. And I'll probably film that belt as well. Alright, cheers. Welcome back. It is all buttoned back up. The electrics are all connected. I'm going to fire it up in a second. These are the gaskets that I've got for the exhaust. They are off a Honda something or other, they're copper, and those are the graphite ones that come from the Indian. So I'll keep all that. I got 4 of those for 20 bucks or something off AliExpress, and they are copper, and actually when you're bolting them up you can kind of feel them squeezing up. So if they're good for Honda V-Stroms or whatever the hell they are an exhaust gasket, so they should be of equal to the Indian type ones, which were something ridiculous like 50 bucks each or something. So I got 4 for 20. I drilled a hole, about a 13mm hole, into the cat there, so that I'll leave some cat and some back pressure, but I will relieve some of that as well. So let's just see what that sounds like. It's always obviously nervous. You go, what the hell's going on? Is it going to start? And oh, it's in gear. That'll be why. Idiots. First gear. Neutral. Alright, so mate, I think that is what it used to sound like. It's not catching, it's just rolling pretty straightforward. So next step, water blast, dry belt, sweet. I'll pull that other gear apart and have a look and see if I can see what the heck's causing the problem, what it's supposed to do too. Cheers. Torque limiting gear, part 700. Okay, so put that in the vise, got a welding glove there. Just undid that with a spanner, so he was no big deal, wasn't super tight, there's no real damage to that. That looks fine. Then we've got the gear itself. There's a washer under that nut, so he comes off, and he's got a locator either side, so he needs the hook into there. We'll get to that. I have had this apart. There's our gear, comes off, and there's another washer underneath of it. So our gear so that's the friction surface. I mean, that could be polished off. And used back again, I reckon. And again, so that's keyed onto that. Okay, so that's part of your friction surface too. So I wonder whether it can be flipped around the other way or what, but there's no great defects with that we're looking at. That's possibly the worst of it. Then we've got these 2 copper washers, which I thought maybe could just flip them around, but they are actually concave, so they won't just flip around the other way. But again, there's no damage to them in any way, shape or form. So as far as repairing the part goes, somebody would have to try it and see if it's going to work or not, but I would think if you just polish this up, the critical component would be the torque setting on the nut. So if you had the right torque setting, which actually, this gear is designed to slip at a certain torque, so that's what you need to find out, where that torque is and how much slip it'll get. But those are my thoughts on that, and should be a bit hit and miss to fix and put back together, but it might be worth trying.